Welcome back to Granny Shifting. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Jason.
And this is minute 31 of Fast 5.
Ladies and gentlemen, hey, it's Jesse from the original Fast and the Furious, and you're listening to Granny Shifting, the Fast and Furious podcast.
And last week I do apologize. I was pretty sick. So
yeah, I'm glad you're feeling better
Yeah,
now.
I'm feeling much better now this week.
Non-congested, no coughing.
Yeah.
Does talking about coughing make you want to cough, Ryan?
Yeah. Coughing also
Don't
makes
do
me
it.
want to cough. Just talking.
Ignore the itch.
Okay.
You need a throat scratcher.
There.
You know what you should do? Bottom lip a zone.
I don't think so.
Oh, boy. All right, gross.
Right, you brought it out of me. All right.
He even turned his head for that. You see how loud that was.
Yeah.
Imagine sitting next to him.
I can't.
It's
Yeah,
all right. I don't care
it's
if
to the
you
point
cough
where
into my shoulder, Ryan.
Where my wife is like annoyed with my coughing. She's like, shut up.
Yeah, why are you being so inconsiderate?
Yeah. Like at nighttime, especially at nighttime, I feel like I lay down and I just cough and cough and cough.
I don't know what that is. Like our kids, something with kids too. Like at night they cough, and then I'm like, man, they have a terrible cough, and they get up and they just
They're
stop
fine the
coughing
whole day. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't cough at all.
Yeah.
Some of like being laying down or something makes you cough, or
Maybe.
being bored, and they're like, I can make noise this way and be annoying. And, I don't know. That's why we have a no coughing rule in our house.
Yeah, that's a good rule. We should do that here after I'm done with my cough.
Well, no coughing podcast. No more
Okay.
coughing.
We're going
All
to go
right,
for it.
Here we go.
So you and I were both kind of right.
Well, you definitely knew what was coming here.
But I totally okay. So let's start getting into it. We'll get to where we were both kind of right.
All right. So The Rock is walking up into the favela, same place they met Vince early on, and this part bothers me. So there's all these. How would you categorize the group of guys guarding this building?
Thugs.
Thugs. All these thugs with guns, like ready to go. Mm-hmm. And The Rock reaches down, grabs his pistol out of its holster, and pulls it out. I'm thinking, okay, you're immediately getting shot. There is 30 of these guys around you with guns,
Right.
and they are like, you're going to draw a gun? That's a good way to get shot.
But well, see, all four of them draw guns. He just draws a pistol. You see the other guys? They drew big guns.
After he did that.
Right.
But still, immediately you think they're like, and these guys, you have to assume, don't have the best sense.
Right.
And they're not afraid to get in a gunfight.
Right.
Like, that's just part of life for them. If you've ever seen City of God, best movie ever.
Did I
made.
have? Have you watched the show though?
Oh, is it
Real
out
fans
yet?
watch the show.
Is it
It's
out?
been out.
Did you watch it?
No, I didn't watch it.
All right. We'll watch it tonight.
Once we're done with movie 11, we'll start on.
Okay. Deal. So, anyway, instead of them firing back, they part for
Yeah, they
him.
just,
Instead
back
of blocking, they all back up and move out of the way.
Like these are the
get
worst,
out of here. Worst
like,
thugs ever.
protective thugs. Like, what are you guys being paid to do? You're
Yeah,
getting paid
flex
to
your six
die
pack?
in the streets, right? Just do your job.
Right. But they get out of the way, and The Rock's like, yeah, that's what I thought.
Because a big guy with one gun is more powerful than a bunch of guys with lots of guns.
Well, there's like 6 of them. But Wilkes has a sniper, and he's staring down the scope of it. Like, what are you
That's not a
aiming at, dude?
sniper.
What? It has
That's
a tripod
It's
on
like
it.
an MP4.
Yeah, boy, it has a tripod.
M14A1.
What? The little tripod thing so you can shoot at range, right?
It's so you
I
can
guess
put it on
it's
a
a-
ledge and balance yourself.
It's a bipod. What's this little device hooked to the side? Is that-
Laser.
oh, he's got a laser pointer on it, too.
This guy here is a prowler. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't see that.
It looks like what I imagine a prowler would look like in real life. Watch him pull it right here.
Oh, that does look very prowler. It has the curled mag.
Right.
It's kind of a short, stocky gun. Probably shoots a 5-round burst. Are burst guns real? They actually
Yeah.
have guns that shoot a burst of bullets?
I think so.
What's the benefit of that?
Controlled recoil. It's only recoil for a second.
I don't know.
I feel like
about that.
people you ever see those ones where people like pull the trigger and they can't stop pulling it?
Yeah.
But if
Oh,
you
it
pull
stops.
and then it stops, and you
Okay.
don't end up shooting at the sky.
You
just
can reset. Okay.
I mean, I don't know much about guns at all, honestly. But I mean,
I
I'm
think they're
calling
making
this
it
is
up.
an actual gun, and I'm calling it a video game gun.
And you
because
think
that's
it's a
all
burst?
I know.
You think that's a burst gun?
No,
And that's a select fire. You can switch it to.
if you got the
Automatic.
hop up, if you found the hop up.
You ever
Stop and think about how ridiculous those games are.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, imagine if they had the game like realistic. Like Call of Duty is supposed to be kind of realistic.
Right.
What if it was realistic where you get hit and that's it. Like maybe you're not dead, but you're laying on the ground. You're not doing much.
Yeah,
Where most shooting games, you can get hit.
Oh.
I mean,
your full mobility.
it takes 30 bullets till you're
Right.
dead.
I think that's how that Tarkov game is.
One shot and you're like,
Like if you get shot in the leg, like
Mm-hmm.
you're like limping. If you get shot in the arm, like you can't reload your gun. Like that's how. I'm like, who wants to do that? That's not fun.
yeah,
That's
you're
like
just
playing-
hiding the whole time.
Playing Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you got a flat, and your character has to get out and change the tire.
Yeah. No.
Like, wait,
Well, I would just do it in real life. If
I have
wanted to
wheel
do it.
locks. Does anyone know where my wheel lock key is?
Yeah. Check the glove box.
That last place did a tire rotation. They probably still have it.
One time I lost mine and I had to pay a shop to weld a nut onto it and turn it out. Ruined my wheel.
Oh, really?
Then like 2 weeks later I found it. Cost me like $80.
Yeah. We have a tool that it's basically just like a graduated socket, like a
Oh.
smooth.
Is it like curled slightly?
We do have some of those, but those don't seem to work as well. They're supposed to they're like reverse.
Yeah.
So,
Grab onto it.
but these are honestly most of the ones that work are just smooth. They just kind of get narrower as they go in,
Yeah.
and you just pound it on the
The problem
on
was
the wheel lock.
normally those are kind of thick, and this was on a BMW wheel, and they were
Yeah.
like really embedded. Like the hole
Oh, yeah,
was very narrow and slim, so you couldn't any of those type of sockets wouldn't fit in.
yeah,
So
yeah. That is a problem.
anyway,
Another problem we have is getting if you use one of those things and you do get the nut off, it's hard to get the piece out of your tool.
right, because you just like
Because
locked
we've had to
it
just
in.
buy new tools because you just hammered that
Bent
thing on
metal
as hard
to
as
get
you
it in.
could. Yeah. But yeah, I just did tires on our van and we had wheel locks, and I said, forget that. I went and bought 4 lug nuts. I said, I'm not.
Nobody's stealing van wheels anyway.
Right. Like, why are they on there? The last thing I want to do on the side of the road in the rain is try to find my wheel lock kit.
You know, when we were in high school, that was a time in our area where cars got stolen a lot, especially Honda Civics.
Oh, yeah. At the mall?
Yeah, it was if you parked a Honda Civic at our mall, it would go missing.
Yeah.
People had all kinds of crazy stuff wired up to their cars so they wouldn't get stolen. It was like really common. I knew a couple people that had their car stolen, and they all got taken up to Reading and then get stripped down and
yeah.
sold in parts. But that
Yeah.
was like a thing. Your car just got stolen.
Yeah.
I heard that those guys would often just have a big key ring with a whole bunch of different Honda keys, and they go through
yeah.
10 keys, and like if they're worn down enough. I mean, we knew this from your dad's
Right. yeah.
Accord, where you accidentally started it with your Integra key,
Right.
and then because it was like close and then worn down,
Yeah.
and Honda just didn't have that much different.
Yeah,
key
we had that
styles,
happen
I
at work
guess.
one time where we had 2 old Civics and the guy got in the wrong one and put the key in and then couldn't get the key back out. And then we realized that. He
Did
got
you
in the
remember
wrong
from when you were in that situation?
I was like, oh, I've dealt with this before. And I forget what you did to resolve that. Something, you had like a little
there's
screwdriver and you tried to push a pin
Yeah.
in. And I was in there for
like
a while. We ended up calling a locksmith and
the
he
key
got it out.
teeth were correct, but it didn't have the right shape that pressed in the release.
Yes.
So I think we got like a wire and pushed in on the bottom and got the release to release. But I remember that was like, you were pretty annoyed that day.
Yeah. But it's funny, like we've come so far from that. Like this was like a 90s Honda.
Yeah.
And yet like now the stolen vehicles are like brand new Kias, where they like
Yeah.
break open the ignition switch and there's a USB in there and they just put that in and it
Is
starts.
that how they do it?
Oh yeah, we got so many
Don't
of those.
tell all our listeners. We're going to be spreading crime like crazy.
We had so many of those Kias come in.
That
And
somebody tried to
these-
steal.
Oh yeah.
Wonder why it's Kias. Like, you've heard of the Kia Boys?
No?
Oh, it's like, so there's these thugs, I guess in cities all over the world, and they steal cars, Kias often, and then they sell them to peers for $300.
Okay.
So it's not much money. And these are like kids, like 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and they use the car to commit a crime and then just ditch
just
it.
leave it.
So they're paying a couple $100 to have an expendable vehicle for short term. By the time it
Burner
gets
car.
yeah, and it's crazy because it's like, well, it might be a $5,000-$10,000 car because they're newish Kias.
Right.
That makes sense that USB you can steal.
Yeah.
I wonder if Kias are easy to hack or something.
This was like a guy
That's why
showed
it's
on
always
TikTok
Kias.
how to do it, and the video went viral. And it was like, yeah, you put a screwdriver in at this spot, and you just pull down, and it breaks all this plastic stuff out of the way, and it shows this USB port here, and you
my
can put it in
word.
there. Yeah. So this TikTok went viral, and that's how people figured out how to do it.
that guy. Kia Boys.
Yeah.
Don't steal Kias.
Yeah. Don't steal it all, guys. You wouldn't steal a handbag.
No.
You wouldn't steal a movie. All right, so these guys back out of the way once they see the Rock and his
Back
muscles.
to the minute. Right,
Yeah.
talking about the minute now.
Yeah.
Great transition.
It's almost worse to me that the Rock says, "I thought so."
yeah.
Like, oh, get
Plus,
it over yourself, dude.
I know. I feel like in general I like The Rock, but in this movie so far, not really a fan.
Yeah.
But
So-
he's playing the part. He's supposed to be this like super confident, super powerful, sort of like the legal Dom.
Right.
But
He's-
Dom's always
it's Dom
been likable.
on the right side of the law.
Has there ever been a moment when you're like, "Oh, Dom, that was just cringy"?
Yeah, I think
Cheesy.
a lot of times.
Like when he talks about his super underwear or whatever.
What?
The Rock did that when he first came in. He's like, "Get your thunderwear."
We
Like,
never did.
oh,
We never could
cringe,
decide if it was funderwear or thunderwear.
Cringe.
But Dom doesn't try to be funny though. Like
No.
the Rock is trying to be funny. So I think this is why I thought this was happening in close proximity because they keep going back and forth. Like,
Okay.
they're here, they're engaged
Oh.
in something, and then it goes to the Rock, and he's walking a direction.
So it's
and then
giving
it
you
goes back
vibes that they're close.
here. Right.
Okay. Well, you're right. And we find out here exactly how right you are.
So with more math, they figured out that there's $100 million plus in these cash houses.
yeah. So Brian
They're
and
still
Mia
assuming that it's
looking at the 49
American money.
Yeah, the 49 kilos and
Right.
somehow 20 million, whatever. 100 million plus in the cash houses.
Yeah.
Which, okay, I'm like, so that's probably drug money or cartel money, whatever.
Yeah.
Why is, like, the government probably isn't that interested in the money. They shouldn't be. 100 million is nothing to our government. They want to stop the crime,
Right.
catch the criminals,
Right.
but 100 million's a lot to the cartel.
Yeah.
But you're telling me they don't have any, like, they don't know where it is? Like, they have the delivery thing. To me, that's what you give to the guy to make sure it gets there. But you know where your
I think
cash
the
houses are.
I think the cartel knows where it's at,
Then why do they need this card back so much?
so that nobody else finds out where it's at.
Oh.
If it fell into a rival gang or I don't know anybody who
But
would use it as
literally,
blackmail.
it'd be so much easier. Just move the money.
Oh yeah.
Just move the money. It's 100 pounds in each house. Move it somewhere else. Create new drop-off locations.
Right.
And then let them go to those old places.
Yeah. I think they do try to do that.
Oh, you're not allowed to watch these anymore. Oh, I will say, in Mexico.
Oh yeah. Did you watch any of them?
No, there was never.
Really?
Like, actually, I didn't watch. I don't even think I turned the TV on in our room.
Not even to order food.
You did that on the phone.
Oh okay.
But the kids had it on and they're complaining there's only like 2 channels. Breaking the rules.
Sorry.
There's only like 2 channels and they're in Spanish.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So I don't know.
Interesting. All right. Don't they know that Americans are staying there?
Yeah, come on.
All right. So Dom and his genius saying, "Oh, that's how he keeps it off the grid."
By putting it on a hard drive.
Yeah. No, by keeping the cash in safe houses.
Seems dumb. You gotta store your cash
He
somewhere.
doesn't wanna
You
put it
gotta
in
put
the
it somewhere
bank.
safe.
Bank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see.
All
All
right.
right. So the Rock's walking on up free now because nobody's stopping him, and then now we're back in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Brian says, "I mean, it's a whole network right there, just laid out on a chip."
He's like, no wonder Reyes wants this back. Because if somebody got it, they'd be in trouble. And they hear this slight metal clanging outside.
Metal clang.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking, okay, you just pointed out to me that the GT40's in pieces. They're gonna jump in the GT40 and drive away. But
Maybe
that's not what
maybe I
happens.
was. Well, yeah. Okay. I'll be honest. I thought that when they come in here and they see the warehouse, that the GT40 was back together.
Oh,
But obviously, it's not going to be. I thought that was a movie mistake. But
okay.
my
It could happen.
memory was incorrect.
It didn't happen this minute.
Yeah.
So we hear metal clanging.
They can't be the first metal clanging they heard outside. You know what I mean? They're in the favelas.
Right.
People are working on their dirt bikes and they're
Right. These places
fixing
aren't
their houses.
quiet.
And yeah.
You're in the hood,
Yeah.
in the city.
But it alerts them. They're like, oh,
Yeah, they
what's
look
that?
around. They're looking up at the ceiling. and then,
So somebody brand new, not The Rock.
no, this isn't a brand
I mean,
new
they're not
guy.
brand new guy. It's not a brand new guy, but it's not who I was expecting to come. to
No,
the door.
you would think it'd be The Rock and his crew,
right?
but it's the guy from the train, the first mate.
Yeah. Who works for Reyes?
And he grabs a ski mask and pulls it down. Also, doesn't make sense. Why is he concealing? Like, we have to assume now he's at their warehouse. Why is he concealing his identity?
Yeah.
Like, what does he care if they know it's him?
I mean, the goal is probably to just kill them. So what's the point in hiding your face?
Right. So there's a big metal door, and he's got a couple guys with him. They kick in the door. They
Just
rush in
It's
to
like
the
a
warehouse.
man in leadership makes the other guys go first.
That's, well,
Yeah.
like a king.
The king should be on the battlefield. He should be on the front
Yeah, but
lines.
you think? You need a lot of new kings, though. That's the problem. Sometimes you got to protect the brains.
That's true. That's why Reyes is sitting in his.
I'm not against this method. Some
But
people
you
are
might be
more
if you were
important
one of
than
their
alive.
grunts.
Yeah.
But
Well,
they might be just as smart. They just haven't had their chance yet.
well, they won't be a grunt then.
They should have auditions.
Maybe they won't. Yeah, maybe you got to work your way up to that.
Yeah.
It's like the union. You start out with the bad shifts, doing the crappy jobs, and you work your way up until you get lots of vacation. You get to work your 8 to 4.
I don't know anything about unions. All I know is that people talk about. So the union is. So there's a company, and say they have a bunch of. It's a shipping company, and they have a bunch of workers that load the trucks that ship the stuff out.
Yeah.
They would be like the people working on the administration side of the business would work for the company,
Yeah.
and the people that are loading the shipments might have a union.
Well, they'd still work for the company, but at some point, if they're like, we don't feel like we're being treated fairly, we're going to unionize. So then they unionize, and then they get linked up
It's like
with
a legal
a big
thing.
union. Yeah.
Okay.
And then the union sets up negotiations with their boss. And if the company doesn't negotiate, they can go on strike because they're all unionized, so they all work together. But the union also sets all these other the idea is good. It was like companies were taking advantage of employees and mistreating them. But at some point, in some places, it got like abused. So like
crane operators that want $650,000 a year. Like that was
Well,
just this past year, right?
yeah.
All this production stuff
wanted more
because
money.
they weren't unloading ships.
But like, so Shane that we spoke to on our last episode, he's union now, but he works for Hershey Park. He was union for Volvo, and he hated it. He drove forklift for them, and he said he would drive out of an 8-hour day, he'd drive forklift for maybe 3 hours, and then the rest of the time he sat there. He said if he'd get up and push a broom to sweep, he'd get in trouble because that was someone's job. And the unions like, well, you don't want people taking other people's jobs.
Right.
So you're only allowed to do the job that you're assigned.
Okay.
And then there's other like technicalities of, I don't know. There's a lot of like wasted time because of that, and people can take advantage of that then. So now he's union at Hershey Park, and he was trying to get me to come work there, and like he really likes it. The problem is when you start in the union, you're like low tier.
Okay.
So you're night shift. You don't get time off. If there's crappy jobs, the like senior guys are like, nope, and then you get stuck with it because it's the union, you know.
But that's how it is in a normal company, isn't it? Like even if they weren't union and you came in as the new guy, you would still be doing that kind of stuff, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you're right. To an extent.
But do the big companies, do they not want these? I mean, it's blue collar workers, right? They don't want them. Okay, so I'm remembering this part from the show The Office, where the warehouse guys are talking about unionizing.
Yeah.
And Jan comes in and tells them all the reasons that they shouldn't unionize because it's going to hurt them. It's going to. I don't remember her reasons. But obviously, she didn't want them to unionize.
Yeah, usually companies don't want it because they'll make demands, and the companies have to pay them. Like when you work for the union, you make a lot more money.
Okay.
Because the union like will negotiate to get everyone. But part of the problem is like if your job description is forklift operator, you make forklift operator pay.
Okay.
It doesn't matter how hard you work, how good you are at your job, and the union protects you from getting fired.
Okay.
So, unless you're like blatantly breaking rules on purpose, they can't fire you. You can't get fired for being bad at your job. So it kind of removes the incentive to like be really good and excel, and then the company can be like, you're really valuable because you work so hard and get so much done. We're gonna pay you more, as opposed to somebody that slacks off, sits on their phone all day.
Right.
Well, they get the exact same pay as the guy that's working his butt off.
Right.
Because the union's like, this is your job description. This is what you get paid.
So Shane would have taken his 3 hours of forklift time and spread it out over 8 hours.
Well, that's sort of what it'd
be.
He'd do like 20 minutes and then have nothing for an hour.
Yeah.
And he'd do an hour. That's what he was.
Yeah.
It's whenever it's needed, he did it.
Right.
But he was just saying there's a lot of downtime where he could be doing other jobs and be effective, but he was literally not allowed to. So
interesting.
Also, some places the union's a lot more relaxed. It's not quite as harsh as that, but certain places.
But they have better benefits overall.
Oh yeah, and you make way more money. Yeah.
Interesting.
So if you want to make a lot of money and slack off, the union's supposed to go. For real. Not even kidding.
I'll have to think about that.
But
I do like slacking off and making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is you're in like management. Management's never union.
You're right. Yeah.
But you could see how annoying it'd be if your employees were like, we want to unionize.
Right.
And then you had to pay them a set fee no matter how good they did at their job.
Right.
And you weren't allowed to fire them when they were like really bad at their job. That would be sort of frustrating. And you had you couldn't incentivize them in any way because it was all whatever. But all right.
I'm trying to think what the benefits are for the company.
Oh, there's very few.
Oh, okay. They're only thinking of the workers.
Yeah, that's the whole point, is to protect the workers from the company.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know how we got on that, but because of the grunts. All right. So they go into the warehouse, and luckily Brian and Dom and Mia heard that climb because they're already heading out the windows.
Yeah, I guess there's no door. They're climbing over the wall and jumping out the upper
ventilation.
That in this warehouse, the top's just open with those flip out windows.
Yeah.
So they jump over and the guys open fire on them. Luckily, they're really bad at shooting their automatic weapons.
That's probably because they have those ski masks on. It's hard to see.
Oh, right.
So they start running, and The Rock...
Scene change.
Yeah.
Now we get The Rock and his crew walking up through the favelas.
Right. And they hear this commotion happening. It's nearby, but it's not right beside them.
Yeah. So something's going on. Gunfire.
Right.
Which you're in the ghetto of Rio de Janeiro.
Okay. Sorry. I just realized something.
That you could literally think, oh, there's a gunfight somewhere.
Right.
It's not that uncommon.
Right.
You wouldn't necessarily think, this is my crew.
Right. That's who I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably fighting someone else right
Yeah.
now, not
What a-
us.
What a coincidence that Rhea's team would start
Yeah.
this while The Rock was right there.
Yeah.
So Dom did not go out the window. This is Dom here. He's
he
gonna
stayed in.
fight all 4 gunned men by himself.
Have you ever seen Dom hold a gun? Oh, he does there.
Yeah. Well, he takes the gun. The gun is still in the guy's hand.
And he like twists it as the guy fires it, turns it, and blows many bullet holes through him, spraying blood.
Yeah. And looks like he hit a couple other people too. I mean, there's probably six or 7 guys in there.
Yeah.
And why is Dom in there? Why didn't he
Why
just
didn't
run?
he run? Yeah.
He's like, "You go. I'll protect you."
And The Rock's like, we need to get into this, figure
Yeah.
out what's happening.
They're about the third party.
He's like, you go ahead, once again, sending the grunts in.
Yeah.
And the pretty female officer says, what about me?
Stay here.
His muscles flexing, veins popping.
He cares about her so
And
much.
she
already.
looks
Perturbed.
frustrated that she's
Yeah.
being made stay behind.
She's like, "Why did you even bring me if you're just gonna have me stay here?"
He likes her smile.
She does a great smile. I can see from here.
Great. Great
You ever see anyone
sober
frown?
face, too. Is that a frown?
Do you frown?
I don't know.
Can you make a frown face? Oh, it's pretty good. Like your mouth goes all the way upside down. Turn that frown upside down.
Oh, where
like-
it actually goes on?
That's pretty good. Yeah, that's good. I feel like nobody's frowning when they're upset.
Yeah, nobody actually frowns.
They're just like straight lipped
yeah. You're
like
either
this.
scowling if you're upset
If
or
you're
you're
a baby, I feel like you're
no expression.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
no adults.
Well, that's it for this minute.
That sure is. And now you're informed about unions. And if you work in a place where you feel like, if you or someone you know is being taken advantage of at work,
You should unionize.
unionize.
Or if you're lazy and want to make more money,
Unionize.
join the union.
Uncle Sam wants you to join the union. Thanks for listening. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Jason.
Always remember.
Winning's winning.